Okay guys, so in today's video we're going to be making a bioactive enclosure for Char the bearded dragon. Now if you haven't met Char before, then I would recommend that you watch the video I made on him the other day. A link to that should appear in a little eye icon in the top right hand corner of the screen about now. If you don't want to watch it just yet, then at the end of the video you can click that and all the links I put up there should appear. Now, he won't be going in his bioactive setup just yet because he's got to finish his quarantine period first. But I'm going to do it this early just so that it can grow in. And then in about a month's time when we put him in there, hopefully the plants will have grown enough so that he won't dig them up straight away. But anyway, that's enough of me talking for now. So let's get straight on with the video. So the first step is to add an organic, free-draining substrate. I like to use Arcadia Earth Mix Arid, although there are others on the market, for example some made by ProRep, and you can make your own mixes. You just want to make sure that it's going to be able to support plant life, hasn't got any huge pieces that might impact your reptile, and that it is free draining so that it won't get waterlogged. So the next step in this process is to add some natural decorations. As you can see, I'm using some rocks there to create a basking site. Now it's essential that these rocks are actually touching the bottom of the vivarium, because if they're just held up by substrate, then if your beardie decides to have a bit of a dig and they go underneath the rocks, then they could be seriously injured. I'm adding some cork as well to add nice hiding places that my bearded dragon will be able to hide in, and I'm also adding branches for climbing. Now, using natural decorations like this is much better than the typical resin hides because they don't release any volatile organic compounds, which can be detrimental to the health of your animal. I'd also recommend adding leaf litter because that is really good for the custodian creatures, which we'll add in a minute. Now, as well, it is important that you take your time during this process because after you've done it, it does become a bit of a chore to tear these systems apart and rearrange the decor, so as you can see, just make sure you get it right. Now this next bit is technically an optional step, but it is one I would recommend if only for aesthetics, and that is adding plants. So I am adding an array of succulent type plants that I have been growing separately in Earth Mix Arid for a couple of months, so they're definitely safe to use. Now whilst bearded dragons may tear these up in time, I mean I've not got that much experience with them, so maybe they'll tear them up and maybe you won't. But either way, it had lots of interest and they are worthwhile in my opinion. So in this shot we're adding the custodian creatures. I'm using giant orange isopods or woodlice and springtails. The springtails I'll add in a minute. These are basically going to do the job of cleaning for me. They'll go round eating Char's waste and all other bits of like dead matter in the enclosure. Honestly, the more custodian species you can get in, the better. I'm only using 2, but I hope to extend that in the future. Anyway, this is basically the last step apart from adding leaf litter to completing the bioactive enclosure, so I'm going to shut up now and let you enjoy it.